So that's the message of life. Give it everything you have. Go through hardships, jumps, obstacles, or maybe don't bother because at the end you're going to be fucked anyways.
That's why I love this movie. Yes.
I knew you'd say that, bro. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Lance, it's that mofo right there, and Arrow, aka John Fallon, at the movies. And today, Lancey boy, nice bucket. It kind of matches my my cup, my sippy cup.
You and me had a discussion about this movie off air, Alien Romulus.
Mm-hmm.
And we were discussing sort of the OG quadrilogy, which is Alien 1, 2, 3, and Resurrection. Mm. And you and me both hadn't seen Alien 3 in a long time, and I had some thoughts about it that seemed different from yours at the time, and you were like, hey, let's watch it and kind of give it a good old college try again, because this is definitely the most controversial one outside of the prequels, for sure. Especially the comics I've been reading, I had no idea. So you and me decided to give it a quick little one over, and we're here today talking Alien 3.
David Fincher's first film. I think he had done Express Yourself by Madonna, if memory serves me right. And look, I watched it again yesterday. I also watched this really great documentary called Wreckage and something or whatever about the making of the movie. And straight up, it is a miracle that they got, admittedly at this point now in my life, a pretty good movie out of the shit show that was development and pre-production. They bring in Fincher. Man, we have these sets, that, and we don't have a finished script. So good luck with that shit. So he kind of had to make it up around what he already had in terms of what was built, and then make it up on the spot as they were writing the script, as they were shooting. So the fact that this movie is as good as it is, in my opinion, a miracle.
Well, not much to say, is there? Death was instantaneous.
The second this came to VHS, I remember my parents rented it, and I remember watching it, and I remember hating it. I hated this as a kid. It was the first time I actually ever saw the aspect ratio of black bars, because it was on the VHS. It was like, I swear, it was like Lawrence of Arabia. It was like this much, and I was like, what is going on? And it wasn't until the 2000s, I want to say 2003, when the quadrilogy came out. It had all the special editions, all the director's cuts, and it had the assembly cut.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, well, I guess if, I'm going to watch a piece of shit movie, I should watch the longer piece of shit. And truth be told, maybe it was a time in my life, I loved that assembly cut. Yeah. It kind of won me over. And I've watched that one ever since. It's not, I don't revisit Alien 3 a lot. I haven't seen it in many years, but that is the one I've always revisited. And for this watch, I purposely skipped it. I was like, no, I'm going to watch the theatrical cut, which I have not seen probably since the VHS days. I have a controversial opinion. I like Alien 3, even the theatrical cut, which is worse, 100%. It's a good movie. I fundamentally don't agree with why people hate this. I understand it, and we'll get into that more, but I'm going to say off the top of the show, so if you want to hate me, you're going to hate me now. Alien 3 is a good movie, far better than it has any right to be, and probably the last good one.
You're full of shit. But, I saw that. Alien 3, at the end of the day, is that, there are two ways to look at this picture, in my opinion. And the first way is the way we all looked at it, is that after the triumph of Aliens, meaning not just triumph, it's a rousing and exciting, fucking awesome movie. Newt, Hicks, Ripley, Bishop, all on the way to greener pastures. And then Alien 3 comes along after this mammoth blockbuster and decides to piss on your grave. And I forgot how bad it got until I rewatched it yesterday, because, it opens up, Newt is dead. Hicks is dead. She's pregnant with the alien queen. It could have been, they're dead, and all the best love and kisses. No, we're gonna rub your fucking face in it. We just killed the little girl that Ripley spent like 2 hours trying to save in Aliens. We're going to kill her out the gate, and then we're going to do an autopsy sequence as well. Open her up. Let's open that stomach up, the rib cage up or whatever. Remember that thing? And I'm like watching this. I'm like, dude, you guys are assholes. You're like rubbing our faces in it. It's definitely a very depressive, dark, and cynical film that again takes the high of Aliens and takes a big acid-laced piss on it.
Yes, I mean, I guess we'll jump into this then. Absolutely. This is something where I get it. I disagree because it's my personality, but I'll say the same thing in my own words. Aliens was the end of the story because it's the hero's journey. Ripley gets her surrogate daughter, the one that grew old and died while she was in stasis.
Yeah.
It makes sense. She like Bishop is still, he's half there, but he saves the day he's there. We got Hicks. We got our new sort of like family born
nuclear,
out of this situation, and it's beautiful. My argument's always been anything continuing off that would have been bad. I don't give a shit what anybody says, because what are we going to have Hicks and Ripley go on adventures, and then Newt's going to be like the actor from like some sitcom back in the day where like they were off doing a movie, so they had him at college and they'd be like on the phone for like one scene, like, "Oh mom, college is so great here. I'll see you soon." Then she comes back next season. That's what it'd been. Like that's all we would have got.
For me, Alien 3 could have been, minus Ripley, minus Sigourney Weaver. I know in terms of the development stage, she wanted in, she didn't want in, she wanted in, she didn't want in. I mean, there's some scripts for Alien 3 that did not include her, and some scripts, that do. I think it would have been a better bet to go in a different direction, not have Ripley, Hicks, and Newt back, because like you said, their story... Let me finish my thought.
That's my point.
Their story is over.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
That's what I'm saying, yes.
So I would have rather they leave that story behind. And not because, suddenly Sigourney Weaver, fucking got a huge paycheck, decides to come back to the franchise. So hence, because of that, we're going to shit on everything that Aliens established. I would have rather they just said, no, Sigourney, Ripley's done, all the best love and kisses, and move on in another direction. It continued with Ripley because Sigourney Weaver, decided to come back. She made a big paycheck. But was that really for the betterment of that story, for the franchise? Because let's face it, Alien 4, for me, doesn't count. It ended. I hate this finicky star shit, okay? It ended at 3 because Sigourney Weaver said, "I'm going to do another one for a huge payday, but it's got to be the last one. So I want Ripley to die." So she died. And then 8 years later, I mean, the cost of living for a Hollywood star, I guess, is big. You know what? I'll come back too, Give me fucking, X and X amount. And then Resurrection comes. I hate the fact, let me finish.
I agree.
I hate the fact that the storyline for Alien 3 and Alien 4 were not dictated by what's best for the film, for the franchise, for the series. It was dictated by, we're getting Sigourney Weaver. Let's go around her. So they kill her in 3 and make everything that the Ripley character went through in Alien and Aliens pointless, useless. Wipe my ass with these movies now after part 3. Who gives a shit? So that's the message of life. Give it everything you have. Go through hardships, jumps, obstacles, or maybe don't bother because at the end you're going to be fucked anyways.
That's why I love this movie. Yes,
I knew you'd say that, bro.
Well, here's the thing. I agree. Alien 3, though, the argument I'm here to make is that Alien 3 should have been Resurrection, a poppy, blockbustery, winky, callbacky, fucking. I thought you died. I did. Like all that shit. I guess what I like about Alien 3 is if it exists, and I agree it shouldn't exist based off of Ripley. It should have been a whole reboot or in another part of the world. I agree with you a lot because I do think it undermines the beautiful heroic ending. Mm-hmm. But I do love that if you're going to continue Ripley's story, they're like, okay, instead of we had a horror movie, we had an action movie, let's make this a drama about essentially death, a drama about regret, a drama about coming to terms. Like the alien's cancer. She was in remission. She beat it in Alien 2, and in Alien 3, it comes back with a vengeance that spread to her heart and her bones. I like the idea that we have a drama. I think that's really cool. It's so ballsy because this should be resurrection. This should be action. This should be fun, shooting aliens and having cool lines. Instead, it's this sad, miserable movie with every character being atrocious. Ballsy. This would never be made now. They would never make a drama. So I guess my argument, because you're right, we actually agree. My argument or my thought on this is that if it has to exist, I love the idea that for some reason they made a drama.
It's hilarious that this came out of the studio system, because the studio system usually is the opposite.
Resurrection makes sense. Resurrection is a studio film. I'm saying in that movie is more action, it's more guns, it's more aliens.
Yeah,
this goes back to Alien, which I thought was a really ballsy move, because it's not what you do. You don't go back to a slow-paced movie after an action we all consider a masterpiece.
Yeah. Well, it took like what, a bazillion writers, like 20 fucking suits, Fox Studio to create, which is basically an independent, downbeat, morose, goes against the grain. Let's kill the heroes off the bat. Hey, let's do an autopsy on a 10-year-old girl. A 12-year-old, whatever the fuck her age was. You know what I'm saying? So it's very funny that this whole filmmaking by committee resulted in the most anti-blockbuster movie in such a huge IP that I personally have ever seen.
But I mean, it has a lot of heart, way more heart than an Alien movie should. Let's be very clear on that. And like you said, it's populated by a bunch of murderers, rapists, scumbags.
Rapist of women.
I'm a murderer and rapist of women.
Well, that's not what we know. We wouldn't do this anymore. And they actually tried to assault her. Which, I mean, it's a good scene. They fight him off and stuff. But that's even a scene like that. I'm like, that wouldn't happen now. And it makes sense, the story, because it's showing that this is not a safe place for her.
Yeah.
She is not only in danger from a monster, but from the men itself. The only guy that's keeping shit safe is Mr.
Charles
S. Dutton. Yeah, Charles S. Dutton.
Oh, Dutton. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dance.
The doctor as well. Yeah, Charles Dance is amazing. Which actually, let's just, let me just vomit this before we move on.
Please.
Alien 3 is not the movie that anybody wanted after Aliens. But, it's been a bazillion years since it came out, and rewatching it yesterday, I personally cannot deny that it is, as a movie on its own, a very good film. Which again, as I said before, it's a miracle that came out of the shit show that was pre-production, post-production, whatnot. I mean, the acting is great, the pacing is good, you got the atmosphere. Ripley's journey is so heart-wrenching, it's so freaking depressing. And the way Sigourney Weaver's performance addresses everything is so layered and emotionally resonant. Then whatever action scene, of course, the tunnel scene, it was the first time I think we saw an alien POV.
Yeah, and it's going.
Yeah, and then it goes around. Yeah, it goes around.
Wide-angle fish lens. Yeah,
beautiful done. The whole try to catch it with the doors. That action scene was fantastic. The score by Elliot Goldenthal.
Yes.
Dude, right? Over the weekend, I'm gonna look at my credit cards. I'm gonna see how much I gotta owe, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come in this little set office. I'm gonna shut the lights. I'm gonna put the score. I'm gonna have a glass of whiskey. I'm gonna light a cigarette, even though I don't smoke. I'm just sit there and wallow in self-pity.
Awesome. I support it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Life is tough.
Yeah, life is tough, and that's what Alien 3 basically says. If you take it within, that's why Resurrection's a cop-out. If you take it within the first 3 films, and if it's a metaphor for life, it doesn't matter how many hero moments you have. It doesn't matter what you overcome. It doesn't matter where you wind up. Sooner or later, life will catch up to you and fuck you in the ass so hard and so dry that you will not get back up.
Yeah.
That's what Alien 3 tells me, bro.
It's fair enough. I guess I would have said it differently, but yes. I mean, that's what I like. It's essentially saying, and I get why people don't like it. I just don't agree that when they say it's a bad movie, it's not the movie for you, but it's not a bad movie. Is that this is basically saying Ellen Ripley was never going to make it out of these blues alive. And so John Lee Hooker and Ben Morrison cover right there. The second this thing came into her life, it was her curse. And the only way she's ever going to put this curse to bed was with her life. And I like that. That's my kind of ending. That's my vibe. It's fully just this drama about her coming to terms with the situation, essentially her realizing that there is only one way out. That's why I like the newt scene. Not only was it rubbing her face in it, but they kept showing Sigourney Weaver. She had that awesome contact shot on her, and she was just broken. She was broken, and it's oh shit, we're we're going to the basement.
Yeah.
We're digging deep with this one.
I want to say this. I think you and I should take on the assembly cut down the road. In my opinion, the assembly cut is the better film.
Yeah, well, because it lets it breathe.
In most instances. Especially I wrote his name on the Golic subplot.
Yeah, the crazy guy that eventually thinks it's a dragon because they're all
and then it gets captured, they let it out, and he lets it out. And this question actually goes to you guys and dolls as well, okay? I say Alien 3, Lancy boy.
Okay.
First scene that pops in your head is, like, what's the most memorable thing from that film for you?
Probably the speech with Dutton.
Which one? Because he has a couple.
I ain't much for begging. Nobody ever gave me nothing. So I say, fuck that thing.
Okay, you picked the same scene as me, man. Okay.
What's the other? Okay, before we go to that scene, what's the other scene you're thinking?
During the funeral scene when they throw the bodies into the fire.
Oh,
At first, there's the warden, I guess. He has a little speech, but Dutton comes in, his glasses, and with the power of God in his heart, and starts, why do the innocents have to die? Why, and I'm like, whoa, holy shit, here's the Oscar, dude.
Do you want it on your feet? Or on your fucking knees?
I will say that the one small issue that I have is that as strong a cast as Charles Dance is the guy, I can't think of his name, I have it pulled up, Peter Postel, something, I don't know what the fuck his name is.
Oh yeah, I love that guy. The
guy from
in the name of the Father, Peter Postlethwaite.
Like at him, got Charles Dance, got Dutton, even the warden guy.
Yeah,
who's
great.
like really. I love him, Brian Glover. It's a strong cast, but compared to Michael Biehn, Bill Paxton, Paul Reiser, the best of the two dads. Go back to the first one with
Tom Skerritt.
Yeah, Skerritt.
Yaphet Kotto. Veronica Cartwright.
Who's that
beautiful. Harry Dean Stanton.
Harry Dean Stanton. Oh my God, that's what I was thinking of. A classy Stanton, man.
Yeah. Part two really, Lance Henriksen, Bill Pax, Jeanette Goldstein. I mean, part two really jacks it up in terms of the cast.
Well, the lice was a fun little thing. I think it's in the assembly cut where like she washed up on the. Yeah, no, I know it is because she's in the pod in the director or the theatrical, but she washed up on the beach, and then when Dance finds her in the assembly, all the giant lice are crawling in her hair, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, actually, guys and dolls, let me know a couple things, all right? Number one, I say Alien 3. What's the first scene that pops in your noggin? Number two, where do you stand on Alien 3? Are you still butthurt with how it took a long leak on Aliens? Or with time, are you able to recognize it for what it is, whether you think it's a piece of shit or a great film? Let us know. And number three, do you guys want Lance and I to continue on this alien path? I mean, our first episode was we watched The Crow, City of Angels. Check it out. We'll put a link somewhere if you missed it. But now we're kind of changing our format a little bit, going back to what we're better at, to be honest. Just debating, talking movies. So do you want us to continue on an alien kick? So Aliens, Alien 3 Assembly, Romulus Part 4, or you'd rather we do other movies? Let us know in the comment below.